But I want to talk about emotion in this process, which might seem like a bit of a weird topic, although perhaps if you've gone through lean eating, maybe not so much. But I think in the beginning, when folks are early to the lean eating process, they're like, emotion? You're supposed to teach me about protein and vegetables. And then, of course, as you go through, you discover that emotion plays a much more significant role than you would have expected. So I'm here to talk about emotions today. But one of the things I want to start off by telling you is that your body is your truth. Your body is the truth of your life. It is the truth of your relationships. It is the truth of what you put into it. It is the truth of what you're generating inside. And the beauty of your body is that it never lies. This part lies, thinky brain lies. Body never lies. So this is very interesting, and this is kind of an idea I'd like to keep in mind and keep working with as we go through this presentation, the idea of truth. And the idea of your body as the only thing in the world that will never lie to you. And I think for many of us, that's a very new concept, because we feel like our bodies lie to us. Are you hungry? Are you not hungry? I don't know what you want. Why do you want cheesecake? What the hell is wrong with you? Right? I had a client once who said to me, why does my body hate me? And I said, well, let's break that down. Every day you wake up and you say to your body, you're a piece of shit. I hate you. You're disgusting. Look at this. Gross. Would you talk to your child that way? Would you talk to your best friend that way? In fact, your body should have packed its suitcases and left. But the fact is, despite all of that, your body loves you. It loves you like, it loves you and it wants to keep you alive. So this is the first truth of the body I want you to remember. Your body loves you and wants you to stay alive. Everything else proceeds from that. So all of the things that your body does that seem weird or irrational or crazy or inconvenient is your body loving you and wanting you to stay alive. So keep that in mind. And the other piece of this is that every cell in your body is the truth of your existence. So the groovy thing I love about physiology, I can change my chemistry by what I eat. I can wrap your mind around that for a second. I can change my chemistry by what I do, by what I think, by what I feel. I'm changing like atoms, man. Like, whoa. Okay? So just wrap your head around that a little bit. And what I'm going to argue today is that our bodies can't talk. They don't speak in language. Language is thinky brain. It's real late to the party. Okay? Our bodies speak in other languages. Pain. Roland talked about pain this morning. Pain is a body language. Emotion is a body language. Movement is a body language. So today we're going to be talking about the language of the body, emotion. Okay? Emotion is a very critical signaling system. And the way that you are able to take in, process, use your emotions in lean eating will affect your success in the program. Okay? This is foundational. So I'd like to present you with an image of how we think change happens. We make the decision to change, and it happens all at once, and it's a glorious experience, and we feel like $1 million, and we do lean eating, and we never turn around and look back. Okay, so perhaps we're hoping that that's how it's going to happen. Of course, this is really a little bit more like what change looks like. And this is true, and I think this needs to be said. This is true even if we want the change. Even if the change is something that we're like 99.9% rushing towards, change always involves ambivalence, contradictions, opposing forces, push and pull. So if you're feeling ambivalent about lean eating, doesn't mean you're bad or lean eating is the wrong path for you. It means it's a natural part of change. Okay? You're just doing what is natural. Change involves loss. Change involves grieving. Change involves exuberance. We do our first pull-up. We're like, woo, yeah, that was awesome. Right? But we have to leave the old self behind in order to do that. So that's okay. It's just normal. And change involves some very primal emotions. And I'd like to kind of get down and talk about the evolution of this a little bit. Emotions have what is called neurological primacy. There will be no exam on this, you needn't remember this. The main thing to remember is that emotions fire first, before thinky brain fires, okay? So let's say I'm walking along and I see a shape. My amygdala, deep in my primate brain, fires first. Boom, shape. Whoa! What just came at me? This happens, and this is a very important point. I want you to pay attention to this part. Oh, wait, not yet. Pay attention. Now. This happens before I see it. Okay? So before my visual cortex registers what this is, what we would call sight, interpreting sight, I feel this. This is a split-second decision that is designed to keep me safe. Right? Body loves you, wants you to survive. Forget the visual cortex, it's behind. Let's go. There. Finally, my thinky brain's like, oh, bears are bad. By the time I'm thinking that, I am running the hell away. Okay? We need this. This is a survival mode. So, when we see this scary shape, this threat coming at us, we will have one of three reactions, which are very evolutionarily old. This is not you as a person. This is your DNA, baby. So you can't escape it. Okay? This is all mammals. Fight, flight. Now, important. These two happen first. This will happen, freeze, if you cannot run away or fight. And that's very important to remember. The freeze reaction is what I call the checking out reaction. Numb out, zone out, go blank, deer in the headlights, like, The parasympathetic nervous system kicks in, you just kind of go limp. You kind of glaze over. You're not trying to do it. It's out of your control. Okay? It's controlled by the deep nervous system. So this happens when we can't do this. Remember that. Because it could be to move one notch along the continuum from spam to superhero, you might need to get here from here. In this moment, like, oh God, what did I just do? But let me take away the scale. What's this feeling?
Depression.
Depression, sadness, grieving, loss. Okay? Emotions live in our body. Now, the most important reason we have to address emotion in our practice is that alexithymia, which is literally no words for mood, is one of the strongest correlates of disordered eating. What this means is, if you don't know what is going on in your emotions, if you cannot feel what is going on in your emotions, if you live, like I like to say, from the eyebrows up, live from the eyebrows up, or if you cannot express what is going on for you, you are much more likely to have disordered eating. And I call it disordered eating because it has a variety of manifestations. I don't call it an eating disorder. I call it disordered eating because it's a phenomenon. It's a thing that we do. Right? It's not a thing that we are, it's a thing that we do. It's a very diverse phenomenon. Alexithymia is one of the strongest correlates of disordered eating there is. Not your childhood, not anything else. Alexithymia. And eating, or controlling our eating, allows us to cope with the things that we cannot name or will not name. The things, the truths that we will not speak. So the eating speaks for us, or the not eating. The eating or the not eating is the truth that our body speaks. Okay? So if we think sometimes, if I can control my eating, then I can control how I feel. Or we might feel, I am completely out of control right now. I am completely out of control of everything. Or, again, we restrict and then lose it. And many people feel like, okay, that's great, Krista. I get the whole like bongos and rainbows emotion stuff. But I'm afraid that if I loose this iron grip that I have, it will spew and I will never control it. It will be too much. I can't deal with it. I'm here to tell you, you will survive it. It will be okay. And that's not how it works. Okay? And we'll go back to that in a second. So the common thread is that we're using food and eating or not eating to cope with the emotions that we can't express. We can do, quick trick here, we can do an opposite day. Bring our emotions to our awareness. And however you can express yourself, do it. In my counseling practice, I use crayons. I love crayons. Crayons somehow tap us into the right brain, the kid in us, right? So if we can't say what we're feeling, we can often draw what we're feeling, or there's got to be a way to express it. Who here has already done the mind-body scan? So folks are familiar with it. Mind-body scan is a great way to start learning how to do this. So after your next few mind-body scans, just take a few notes or draw a little picture or something. See what precipitates, see what patterns you notice. But the bottom line is, the only thing worse than feeling a painful feeling is not feeling it. So many of our clients come to us feeling bad. They're sort of like feeling non-specifically bad. Well, when we feel bad, we often do things, remember, coping mechanism, to not feel bad. And that makes very good logical sense. It's just that often we layer multiple problems. So let's say I'm sad and I drink to feel better. Well, that works pretty good in the beginning. Okay, I don't feel bad anymore. Woo! 10 years later, I'm an alcoholic. Now I have another problem. I haven't solved my sad, and now I'm an alcoholic. Now I have two problems. So don't layer problems on problems. Go back to the original feelings. At some point in the lean eating journey, you have to face the demons that are driving you. It has to happen in order for this to be successful. Now, I don't mean you should wallow in it. I don't mean you should be miserable. I mean you got to turn around and say, what's chasing me? Fear, shame, sadness? What is it? What's chasing me? Let's talk about healthy versus unhealthy emotions. So it's important to understand that I'm not saying, oh, you got to think positive all the time or anything like that. Sad, anger, all those negative emotions can be very healthy emotions. They're healthy when they're in the right place at the right time. Okay? If someone kicks sand in my face and I get mad, that's healthy. Anger is what happened when he said, neither am I. He said, that's why I train. So in his mind, it didn't matter if he'd been a judo instructor for 40 years. Who cares? Every day is fresh. Beginner's mind. Because you remember when you start things, like, isn't that an awesome moment? Like when you're at school, you get your new lunchbox, you're like, yeah, new lunchbox. Every day should be new lunchbox day for you. Every day. Because if you think about it, right? Feel into that moment of the new lunchbox moment. Isn't it already way more awesome? You're like, yeah, I'm gonna, you don't remember what happened yesterday. You're starting fresh. And this is so key, okay? Be a newbie. Don't should yourself. Don't say, oh God, I should be better at this. No, beginner's mind. Because that's what will actually make it all work. In judo, as soon as you start thinking, oh God, I should be better, oh shit, I forgot. As soon as you start overthinking and shoulding, you lose the throw. So I was learning a new throw recently, and I was like, and I was like, no, thinky brain, you're no help here. Gotta be primate brain. And I did it, and it was beautiful. And I had to look to see if I'd thrown her because I didn't feel it. I was like, did she go? I didn't feel it. So when you have beginner's mind, things become a lot less effortful. So, who has a dog? So you know what they do when they're listening? They're like, huh? This is what I would like you to say to yourself. Not, oh, you're bad, you're stupid, you suck, blah, blah, blah. No. So when you observe yourself feeling into something, experiencing something, I want you to cock your head like a dog and go, huh, that's interesting. I'm feeling really pissed off about this habit. Huh, that's interesting. Man, I can't believe those assholes made me want to eat beans. Oh God, I have a childhood trauma around beans. Huh, that's interesting. That's the beginner's mind. Be a non-judgmental observer. And this was alluded to earlier. Trust your resilient self. If you're someone who struggles to express emotions or to feel emotions or articulate emotions, again, there's often that fear. Like if I let this rip, oh my God, it's going to be crazy town. No, you will survive.